good afternoon, good evening. My name is Liam and I'm a professional tarot reader. I offer spiritual counseling services, and people often, after I've given them a reading, they ask me how can they interpret and explore and experiment with the tarot themselves. And most people are interested in the big cards, the major arcana, the big secret, the big reveal, the truth, the grand masterpiece of the tarot. And I can often give them explanations on individual cards. I say, most people are interested in cards like the High Priestess or the Lovers. The best way to learn the Major Arcana is to understand the Fool's journey through the Major Arcana. So if you pull out the cards or look at the cards online, you'll see that the Major Arcana cards have numbers. Fool is 0, circle. And then we start with the Magician, number 1, and end with 21, World. So we have 1 to 21, Magician to World, and then the Fool, 22 cards. Now the Fool represents all of us, and that's not an insult, although maybe it's kind of a bit of a joke on humanity, human nature. The idea here is, I like to think of it as a soul. So you can say the Fool's journey or the soul's journey. I like to say the soul, but we're working on the tarot, so let's talk about the Fool. The soul. In Eastern philosophy, and many traditions, even in the West, it's said that if you believe in reincarnation, it's said that the Fool, the soul, is kind of foolish to be reincarnated into this physical material reality, because we're going to know pain, grief, loss, suffering. It's not easy having a human body that decays over time as we grow older. But the idea here is that we're incarnated in this body over the course of a human lifetime to learn. It's like a school. Maybe that's why you see people on Facebook, they've done the school of life. So the Fool, the Major Arcana, is like the Fool's journey as he visits all of the archetypes. So initially, he meets the Magician, the Magician, and the High Priestess. This is just one interpretation. Maybe I'm wrong. The Magician is the interior masculine energy, and the High Priestess is the interior feminine energy. So they perfectly counter each other. The Magician is bold, magnetic, captivating. He's mastered all the 4 elements. He likes to impose his will onto the world to drive his masculine energy forward. He's loud, bold, like me. Whereas the High Priestess, she is quiet. She listens. She's guided by her intuition, and she only responds appropriately. So the soul meets the Magician, and the Magician gives him all of the secrets of life. He knows everything immediately, right out the gate. He knows everything. But it's too hard for him to possibly understand all of the secrets of life, all of the information available in this world. So upon leaving the Magician, he goes to the High Priestess, and the High Priestess is sat in her chair, and she's quiet, and she's guarding the scrolls. And the Fool explains to the High Priestess that the Magician has basically laid out all of the tools on his table. He's told the Fool all of the secrets, how to master himself, nature, his thoughts, his feelings. But he explains to the High Priestess that he's kind of didn't really understand it. He just simply wasn't ready to learn that information. She momentarily hands him the scrolls. She's guarding the secrets of life herself. She knows as much as the Magician. And then briefly, she allows the Fool access. But she says, moving forward, the best thing you can do at this moment is just listen to your intuition when you are on your journey. You don't need to know everything now, because even if you have the information, it's not wisdom. Me personally, I believe in earned wisdom. I can tell people things, people can read things in books, on Instagram posts, but that doesn't mean they know it. That doesn't mean they know anything. It just means they have information. And information is it's like a fine wine. It matures into wisdom over time, and normally you have to earn that, often by suffering, by feeling pain. He moves on to the Empress and the Emperor, the external feminine and masculine energies. The Empress is basically just like the mother and father figures in our lifetime. The Empress has unconditional love. She nurtures him. She teaches him and shows him what it's like to feel affection, love and care, how you should, without conditions. The Emperor, however, the masculine external father figure, the paternal energy, creates boundaries. He protects, he teaches the fool, he shows the fool what it's like to feel protected in the world. However, there are conditions with the Emperor. The Emperor creates boundaries and enforces those boundaries. And when the fool oversteps the mark, the Emperor teaches he gives consequences. And this is what the fool learns from the Emperor, that there are consequences to breaking rules, but it's for your own good. It's for the order. Upon leaving the garden, the nourished, nurturing garden created by the Emperor and Empress, the fool, the soul, encounters the Hierophant. And historically, the Hierophant was like organized religion, church. But in modern times, in the Western world, this is like education, institutions. This is where the fool, the soul, learns about society, about interacting with other people, and how the world works in a formal way. We're tested. You have to keep your head down. You have to do what you are told. If you are to make something of yourself in this life. Eventually, he leaves his hometown, his home city, his home village, his or her hometown, home village, and he begins his real journey outside the safe confines of organized education and the home. And he encounters the lovers, both the lovers. And the lovers show two ways: the left-hand path, the right-hand path. It's the path of they show him, they tell him or her, the fool, the soul, that you have two options here. You can follow the path that is expected of you and continue to do what you are told, what you're meant to do, what other people are doing, or you can follow your passion, your heart, your true will. There is no right or wrong answer. There is only the answer that you choose. So we are taught, the soul is taught the power of choice. And no matter what we choose, we're still going to encounter the same lessons along the way. It'll just be a little bit different. So he makes his choice, and he's immediately confronted by the charioteer. The charioteer shows him, doesn't tell, shows that he must use his aggression, his assertiveness to insert himself on life. If he wants something, he must go after it with all he has, if he is to be victorious, if he is to achieve something in life. It's all about power, outward power. And then strength, gently pulling the lion's hands, the lion's mouth open. She shows him that some beasts cannot be conquered by power alone, by strength. It's a bit of a misnomer. It used to be called fortitude, this card. It's quiet strength. It's quiet strength. Sometimes you must kill people with kindness. You must be compassionate to get what you want, to be patient. This again is kind of, well, it is the masculine and feminine energies. After all these lessons, the fool decides to retreat. he goes into the dark place, into the wilderness, away from society, away from people, and he goes inward. This can be kind of a period of depression as you realize the weight of life, responsibility, but it's also a period of deep enlightenment. Maybe enlightenment's not the right word. Self-awareness is a good start. The fool realizes that he must come to his own opinions. He must learn his own, and not everything he was told by the magician, the high priestess, everybody is right. He must form his own philosophy on life. And with this, he carries the lantern out of the darkness. From now on, he will light his own way. And with that, the seasons change, and we have the Wheel of Fortune. The Wheel of Fortune teaches him impermanence, that the good and the bad never last, that time keeps moving, waits for no man or woman, and that all the bad things, all the suffering will cease and pass, but so will all of the things that we love eventually disappear. It's a very powerful lesson. And with this realization, the fool realizes that justice, there is cause and effect. The scales of time and morality, they do balance out eventually. And with this lesson, he meets the hangman, suspended in splendid isolation. The hangman is a lesson that the fool does not enjoy. The hangman is suffering. He is earning his wisdom. The hangman is suffering, but he will gain. He has to press pause. He has to press pause and understand himself to move forward. The fool, he feels this. He feels this lesson. And as death follows the hangman, the fool realizes that now he is a man, a woman, an adult, and he must mature. He knows the enormity of life and death. And with that, he's reborn. The angel of temperance is waiting for him, to guide him, to care for him, to shine her light on him during this period. And now, in words not spoken between him and the angel, temperance shows him or her that balance is needed always. And even if you refuse to engage in balance or moderation, the universe will find a way to slap that lesson into your face. So it's best to try and do it yourself. The fool feels peace, perhaps for the first time on his journey. And just as he believes that he has finally mastered life, he encounters the devil in the pits. So many people surround the devil, so many souls. So many souls. And this is a heavy feeling on the soul's chest, the fool's chest. And I feel it now. But what he learns upon observing, spending time there from a safe distance, is that all of the people, all the souls that the devil has captured are actually imprisoning themselves through addiction, through bad choices, through bad karma, through bad decisions, through bad actions. They place themselves in hell, and they can leave at any time if they wish. It's just that they've gone so far down the road, it's hard for them. And the tower comes and absolutely destroys the fool's understanding of life. His whole reality of what is going on has been shut to the core. But he realizes that for the tower to be strong, the foundations that were built in a corrupt ground must be completely destroyed to be rebuilt in the right way. This is the hardest part of the soul's journey, as everything breaks down around him. But this is the most beautiful part of the Major Arcana, because when all is lost, or all feels lost, when despair is at its worst, the star rises. The star is a beautiful part of this journey. It is hope. that even after the darkest of nights, the star Venus, the morning star, will bring light to you again. And he walks, the soul, the fool keeps walking. And then he encounters the moon. And the moon, although bringing light, it's a false light, it's reflected light. And he realizes that there are still some things that he doesn't fully understand. But that's okay. The moon reminds him of the intuition that the high priestess asked him to consider. And as he has the shadows that follow him through the moonlight, he listens to his intuition and he feels the light of the star. And eventually the sun rises. And the sun is a new day, a fresh day. And there are children, if you look at the card, children laughing, the white horse, purity. And finally, the fool has answers to the questions the children are asking him about where he has been, what life is about, what he has learned along the way. And he finally has answers, he has stories, he has wisdom, not just for himself, but for the younger generations, which he will now pass on. And there is a lightness, finally, in the soul. And then he reaches the gates of his ancestral castle, judgment. This is where he must enter the gates. He must speak anything that's been left unsaid. He must confront his ancestors who have been guiding him along the way. And he must give an account of all of his lessons. And with that, the world spins again. The cycle is complete. He's at another cliff, and then the world spins. And the cycle is complete before the next cycle begins. Completion. He will step into another incarnation, potentially. More equipped, more enlightened. He won't remember all of this. She won't remember all of this. But the soul will have that energy moving into the next incarnation. So that's the Major Arcana. It's a very short. I could probably talk for 6 hours on this. I should probably write a book. Most people don't need to know this. I told you this so you can learn it a little bit more. If you can put the story of the soul, the fool, from the magician to the world, it will not only help you learn the tarot, it will help you become a tarot mystic, like me, where you will be able to identify not only where you are in your life, but where other people around you are at. For example, if you are in the dark night of the soul, and you're going through the tower, if you're going through the death to the tower, you know there is hope. And yes, if you have any questions, feel free to email me and I will put the link below. If you want a tarot reading, or you want to talk about tarot, or you need some tutoring, I am probably the best gentleman in England, available worldwide, to teach you. Or just ask me a question. Or maybe you just want my intuition. Because I don't just do tarot. Go to my website to learn more.